Okay, so since YouTube did away with their go live button, we have to guess now when we actually are going live, but I'm assuming we are. And I'm working on Charles's garage project, and he wanted this stone, which I don't know. He's probably going to be mad at me for saying this, but I don't think it's worth doing this on this little corner. But we want to make our customers happy, so we're going to put the stone on the corner. And what I'm doing here is I'm just drawing myself a little backdrop to put it on. Let's see. So this is just a live work session, and I think it's fun sometimes just to go live, and they're a little boring, I admit. Let's see. There we go. I was hoping that would do that. But, you take your chances as far as whether you think you're going to entertain or teach someone something. It's always there's always that risk that you won't accomplish that goal, but I have to keep trying. What I'm trying to do is create a group out of that now, so I can manage it. I thought why do I keep, that's bizarre. And I know it's funny, I keep doing this. This is a bad habit. In SketchUp, all you have to do is double click on things that are connected, like lines and surfaces. And I thought I could do that. Yeah, let's see if I got it. Make a group. But I'm always trying to get into an angle where I can see it and select it. But then I just had someone, and I have people remind me very often, hey, ArtisanTony, all you gotta do is double click. And let's see, I don't think this is going to be exactly the same size, but I can use it to get started. I can put that right there, and then that actually, is it really that far off? Is the door really not centered? 2'3" 3/16. No, it is. I did something wrong. Let's do that again. Probably talking too much. I should have gone -1, -1. So theoretically that should go. So this creates a mystery. Why is that not the same size? This is 1'4", but you can see I have my portal framing. And this is weird. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. This is 1'7". So how did I get the same? There's a mystery for you. How did I get the same amount of brick on either side, but not the same amount of framing. That is that's 2'3" and 3/16. 2'3" and 3/16. And this is in the middle. Let's go to the middle of the slab. That's the middle. 6'3". That's right. So how is that possible? Wait a minute. Okay. Alright. I get it. Hey.
They emailed you a receipt.
Right, okay.
And then here's your
Thank you.
I'm gonna go take Daisy to Renaissance.
Okay. My lovely wife went and picked up my truck, and I discovered what the problem was whenever I was looking at that. Now, it's funny how mirroring things like that will show you things. Let's see, if I do that, it should delete that. Then that should. So I'm not sure why. I probably didn't get it on the face somehow. Just too many distractions. I was listening to Ray Croniss's podcast. I need to ask him if I'm mispronouncing his name. I wish he would tell me. I heard somebody pronounce it Cronus, and I thought it was Ray Cronice. Now I'm embarrassed because I've been pronouncing it improperly. Now, if I take this and I delete this, and now that I have that drawn properly, it should fit over here. And the reason I'm going through this exercise is because I want them to be the same size. And I was puzzled at first why they weren't, and then I discovered, asked my wife, but my lovely wife was bringing my keys back to me from picking up my truck that I got new tires on. That a baby. Now it's fixed. Now, again, you see, I had this back farther, and that's why I go through this exercise sometimes. I want that brick to return the same on each end, on each side. Now, this is something I'm suggesting, Charles, talking to my customer now, because I think he said he wanted this, he wanted this stone on the front, and I don't like it, but it doesn't matter what I like. I just only thing I can do is give advice based on my experience. Let's see if I have any questions. Any questions? Did I make this public? Yes. So if you're just joining me, I'm working on this garage, and my customer wanted stone on the front. Okay, and I have this little this instant cladding extension from Valley Architects that's really cool. And one thing I'm running into on this is that when I want to do paper drawings, I love, let's just put this back in working mode. I love the way I can get some realistic materials in SketchUp, but they're just images, like it's just a surface, a texture. So when you go to print your drawings, if I go to the front elevation and I want to print this so that it doesn't have to be in color, because nobody wants to use all their ink just to print a drawing to build by. See, in construction we don't build by these types of drawings. We build just by, I'm going to show you in the model, we build with it looking like that. But see, in SketchUp, the textures, some of the textures are just images, so I don't get a brick look on here, right? And then when I go to the right, what I meant to do was, yeah, you see, so if I wanted to use up all the color ink in Charles's printer, I would leave it like that, but I'm a nice guy, so I'm going to put it like that. But it doesn't look as pretty. And so normally what we do on the drawings is we'll have like a rendering looking thing like this at a perspective. You know, I don't know how my ground got so dark. That's weird. It's supposed to be, I must have accidentally, see, that's what happens when you, I'm going to select this and put that there. Yeah. So anyway, on the cover sheet we would do like a perspective mode, and you'd have one color, one drawing, and you try to get a nice perspective and show that. And then on your inside pages, and I'll show you in just a minute, or I'll show you right now. Layout is where it's the software that comes with SketchUp Pro. It is where we do our paper drawings, our 2D, it's our paper space, we call it. SketchUp is our model space, our 3D space. And you can see here I've already started. Like here's the foundation plan, and there it's dimensioned, and this is the floor plan showing the locations of the windows and doors and all that. That's the page A1. A2 are the elevations. If I can get past the lag, and you can see here, this is a 11 by 17 title block sheet here, and I've just got notes and things. But you can see this is just a lot of ink, right? And I sent it to him this way to review, because he can just look at it on his computer. But when he starts to print this, you don't want to curse someone like that, you know. This would use up, $10 worth of ink. Excuse me. So what you try to do is you set up your views in SketchUp so that they're reasonable, right? And reasonable is where we are. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to update that. Now I'm going to go back to I like to work in this mode, so I have a working, because it's just easier to visualize. And I'm going to put this stone on here. Now Charles just wanted it on the front, okay? But I want to show you why it's best to put it the way I've got it. First, I think it will look better. And let's see if I I think I have to select these corners. Or maybe I just have to select that corner. Now I'm going to go to Valley Architects, Instant Cladding, Wall Cladding, and I'm going to try to pick out if I can see a stone, just a sort of a generic. I need to go look and see. I should have done some of this before, because I always have a hard time seeing brick over. I always have a hard time seeing these little tiny labels on these. Okay, stone, flagstone. I don't know why. You should put all these. I need to talk to him about stone, bevel. Let's try that. I need to talk to him about putting all the materials that are similar together. Let's just run it. And there we go. Now, so what we're trying to do in architecture is just represent a material as close as we can get it, right? Now, and you can see that's pretty realistic looking, Now, but what I need to do is I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to try take the faces, and then go back and see if I can't make it look a little better. Let's see here, because I do want it to have, let's see, parameters. And let's see if for fun we can find a better stone. Again, this is just representing stone. It's not the stone, okay? I need to ask him. There's one. Below gable stone. Let's see what that looks like. And then what you can do is of course edit this style. Let's make this bigger. There was one place where you can pick out color. That's another type of stone, you see. So what I need to do is let me go back. Nope, I don't want to do that. So you can't. Yeah, I went too far. And I want to turn off these forms. Don't like them. So the point I'm trying to make about the stone wrapping around is because stone and brick don't mix well. When you're, as a matter of fact, we should have a little table. We should have a piece of stone up here that is shaped like, really it just could be just flat stone, and maybe I'll pick out some stone that's in that first. But honestly, sometimes you'll spend really a lot of time on this kind of thing, and you want your drawings to look good, but in the end you have to realize that there's no way you can represent the actual stone. You just have to pick something that's close and go with it, and then point to it and say, this is stone. But then you have like a finish schedule that lists the actual stone. You know, obviously you can't draw. I'm not going to have the, what does that say, 2-level stone. And if they would just put this flagstone, if they would make this so you could read the labels. Just make these images a little bit bigger. I like that one. What's that one? It's called Below Gable Stone. Let's run that again. And I'm not sure why. Oh, I know why. Yeah. I meant to not make it as thick. So we will make it. Well, it is that thick though. Let's see how thick it is. Five inches. That's probably how thick that's about how thick real stone's going to be in the end. And so the thing that happens is you get this real straight line, and that's not, obviously you can't get that, and the ends are lumpy. So there's no way to truly represent, the stone. But I'm going to leave it like that, and we'll put it over here like that, and that, and those parameters should transfer to this. So I should just be able to run it, and we got it. But you want, the point to this is you want brick butting into stone. You don't want the stone coming out here and stopping. We'll show it that way on one corner, and I'll give an example, and then that way, let's move it over 6 feet. So we'll save that, and then we'll go in here and delete this one. Will I delete my, I'm losing my thing, aren't I? Okay, I can do that and save it. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to get rid of that. Okay. So I'm back to this. That's what I want to be back to. Now, let's just do it on this. That means I'd have to, let's copy this so I don't lose it. Move it over 6 feet too. And then I'm going to have to alter this one to to where we have a situation where this comes out to here, goes down like that. There we go. There we go. And then this would come, if you truly just put it on the face, on the front, this is what it would have to be like. And maybe this is the way he wants it, and if that's the way you want it, then that's what we'll do. But I don't think it looks good that way. I think it looks better when it wraps the corner because of the way it's installed, not because of a design issue necessarily. Wall cladding. Let's just run that, see what it looks like. Okay, so you can see the difference. And what I mean is, and I can't really show it because this is not, we don't cut stone off like that. But, and that's really the point. You would have stones kind of sticking out, bulging out, and they wouldn't really be flush with the corner. And then the brick, you'd try to butt the brick into it. And see, it's easy to show in a drawing. It's easy, like I've got it made, I don't have to really worry about it. The guy in the field is the one that has to worry about it. And it would look better. You can do a corner easier if it's out of stone than if you're trying to run the brick from here to the back of the stone. It just looks bad because here you can end the stone without interference from the brick. So honestly, I would leave it. I would just do the corners. I would just put the brick on the whole thing. I don't think we gain anything architecturally by putting the stone there. But that's just my opinion. And do we have any? Looks cool, man. Thank you. Thanks, Matthew. I'm trying to get around this idea of I would rather the stone wrap around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it like that. What I may do is just move this out of the way, or I may make a temporary layer. When I do that, I'll call it X stone. And then what I'll do is I'll put that in that layer, and which is easy because it shows up down here. And then I'll just turn it off, and then I'll send it to him. I'll send him the elevations both ways, and both corners. Now here's my predicament. When I go back to that, you see, and I gotta update that. You see, I don't, because of the way SketchUp does its texturing. And I use this extension to literally drew the stones, you see. So it shows the stone here, but it doesn't show the brick. So what I'm going to do is look and see if I can go back, and this will take a little work, but I think what I'm going to do is take the brick and move it out, or copy it out. Let's go out a good ways, 30 feet. And then delete the thickness of it. Maybe it won't take too long. You see, might be hard to see, but I'm deleting to where all I have is the back side of it, and that'll be my, then I can use the Valley Architects, trying to get to where I can just delete this stuff easily without deleting. If I can get it in a view like that, I can just delete it like this. There we go. And if I just have that inside surface, I can use that to create actual brick. And it'll look more realistic in the drawing. It'll make the drawing, you know, file size bigger, because it's literally drawing the brick instead of using an image file, you know, image hatch or whatever. Wrong button. Oops. Felt like I got a little too close there with that one. Let's see, hopefully I didn't delete anything I was supposed to delete. Oh, looks like I got lucky, and I just gotta get these windows edges deleted, and I'll have, this may not make any sense yet, but it will in a minute. On this extension, you have to have a surface to use to select. See, so now I can use this. What's that? Oh, I can use this as the face of the brick. So then I can, let's just get the brick right first. Let's just select a face and go in here and see if we can get the brick looking correctly. Let's see if we can find brick. Adobe 1, brick 1. Okay, let's just try brick 1. That's always a good choice. Now it takes a second. I've noticed, yeah, and this is what eats up the memory in your on your computer. It's this memory hog right here, because it's literally drawing every brick. So to do that, will take a few minutes to do it on the whole thing. But this is why we don't normally. I wish we could solve this in SketchUp, where, and it would be a lot of lines, but if these brick hatches could actually have line segments in them, would be nice, because then, you know, but typically on an architectural drawing back in the old days, we wouldn't draw brick on the whole thing. And I'll show you an example of that. This is liable to freeze up. As a matter of fact, I probably should have saved the drawing before. You just have to be patient. Let's be patient a minute, because I forgot to save the drawing. And I'm live streaming at the same time. So there we go. There we go. There we go. See how it drew each brick. Now if I go look at that in my just black and white mode, that's what it's going to look like. And well, actually that's what it would look like. And even that would take a lot of ink, honestly. And so what we normally would do is go to, you missed one. Did I miss one? I'll check it. Typically, back in the day when we drew everything by hand, architectural elevations, if I can spell, architectural elevations, images. What you would do is, let's see if I can find a good example of this. You wouldn't draw, yeah, here's a good example, I think. You wouldn't draw the complete Here's a good example. Let's see if I can zoom in close enough. You see what the architect's done? Well, shoot, accept your dang cookies. They just draw they'll draw a partial, like this is brick, I guess. Yeah, brick. They would just draw a little bit of it and on the surface that it's going to be on. They wouldn't draw the entire thing with brick on it. You see? And this says siding, so they've drawn a little siding here and there. And that's not a very good example because you can't see it. But we wouldn't normally only with the onslaught of computers would we try to show all you see here. This is a typical, they're showing the roofing on the whole thing, the siding and everything, a brick. And that's because we have computers obviously to fill that in for us. But back in the old days, we wouldn't dare try to draw a brick on the whole thing. So, what did I miss? Let me go back. What did I miss? You said I missed one. Let me see. Are you just messing with me? Oh, I did. Holy cow. That was a good eye. Good eye. Is that the only one I missed? But let's get rid of this because really what I should have done was I should have but it's going to take, I'm going to save my drawing, which I'm very glad I've remembered to do. Let's go back to my working view here. And honestly, let me just turn all this to, it's kind of annoying looking at it like it's brick. Is that going to be right? Yeah. I thought I selected all the surfaces. Reverse that. Why is it? Why? Why is that? I think I need to go back here and to where this was brick because it added yeah. All right, we're gonna give up on that. So I don't think the reason I'm trying to get that back to where it was is because I'm selecting all these surfaces and they should be just, there we go. That's what I want. I'm afraid, I think that should be the outer. It's okay if the inside is the, I want this to be the outer. I don't know if it matters with this should be the outer face. That color means that that's the back of the wall. That's the back of the face. And I want this to be the outer. I don't know if it matters. It probably doesn't matter on the brick. But on other, like a lap siding, it would matter, I think. Okay, so we're going to select this, that corner, that, and let me save the drawing. Save, because I've had these crash before, and this is a new computer, but I only have 16 gig of RAM. I really need to upgrade it to 32. Do I have it all? Oh, but I gotta select the corners. That's what it is. I've noticed on this this extension that it does better if you go ahead and select the corners, and then say yes to finding the corners too in this. So we're gonna go to cladding, instant cladding. This is really kind of a curse. Let's see, find corners, no. Okay, we'll leave it there. I'm gonna say yes, and then run it. This is gonna take a second. But maybe it won't be too bad. But really, having the computer is kind of, in this case, is a curse, because I would never attempt to draw the brick on the whole thing. But because I do have this technology, now it's going to make the drawing look heavy, and that's one thing I'm not going to like about it. So what I'm going to try to do is, when I go into paper space, I'm going to try to control the line weights so that they're not so heavy on the brick. I'll see if I can't accomplish that. Now, I'm afraid to go. Should I be brave and go and see if there's any? Yeah, that's the only one. Cool. Now watch me. When I go back, it'll be frozen. You would think on a brand new computer, this is an i7, right? It's a quad core, 240 megahertz, 16 gig of RAM. It's not even a year old yet. These MSI computers, it's an MSI gaming computer, and I found that the gaming computers with the dedicated video cards, really work well with SketchUp, and really don't get into any kind of trouble until I start doing this kind of thing. And you can see it's thinking, and hopefully this works so I don't have to do it again. We shall see, said the blind man. Eyes are watering for some reason, staring at this monitor for 24/7. So I sat here one day and I was trying to render some stone on a big old house, and I must have let it run for 15 minutes, and I finally thought maybe it wasn't going to even work. And right as I grabbed my mouse to cancel, it generated it. But I went to look at the file size, and it was like, a huge file size. And it just kind of starts to become not worth it at some point, having the ability to do it. Now what does work well is like the lap siding, like all of the other texture, like lap siding obviously is just a few lines per board, but when you start trying to render brick, what has it got, six sides for each brick, and there's how many square feet is this? There's 8 feet per brick, 8 feet per square feet. I think there's 7 to 8 brick per square feet. And so this would be 9 times 800, about a couple hundred square, 2, 4, 6, 8. If it's 800 square feet, you're looking at 60,000 brick or something. So, by the time you take the doors out, am I doing my math right? 6,400 brick, not 60,000. Thank you. But even then, you're looking at 6,400 brick, with that many six faces on each brick, and that many lines. So anyway, it's got to draw all those brick and put them in the correct place. So, and it's got to lap these corners. These corners have to be woven, it interlaces the corners and all that. So, and it has to cut them going up these gables. So, I'm trying to be patient. To me, as long as I have the little spinning cursor, the spinning wheel on the cursor, I feel like that it's still thinking, still acting, not frozen up. Let's see if I can get by with checking comments. Yeah. So this is I think I'm flirting with disaster here. I should probably just not be moving around too much, but you can see why I hesitate to do this. I need to upgrade I need to just go ahead and order the memory. These laptops are a little bit difficult to. I've got a video on my last laptop where I installed, I think, 16 more gig of memory, and it's a little bit of a chore to put it in, and you have to break that factory seal on part of it, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking because at that point, well, I'm already past the point to where I could return the computer, so that's not an issue. But is it going to work? Is it? That's quick. If this doesn't work, then I'm just going to go ahead and work on the drawings, the two-dimensional drawings, and I'll ask Charles if he minds just printing it out in color or not, or how we want to deal with that. I mean, after all, you're just really kind of, once you get to the elevations, you've already got it framed up, and that's really not where the bulk of the information lies. I need to work on the framing plan, the roof framing plan. So really, I should have done that instead of playing around with this extension, knowing it was going to take this kind of time to render the brick. Hey Richard, how's it going? Hey Barrett. We're trying to render brick on this. These are the paper drawings. If you just got here, this is on 11 by 17, and I was asking him if this was. I like to print the drawings to scale. This is a 1/4 inch equals a foot. On a sheet size, you can print on your own personal printer, but sometimes you can see it gets a little crowded. And I'm also trying this. The reason I'm doing this, trying to render this brick on here, I better quit moving around here. It's going to freeze up on me. Is so that we can show the brick, on the drawing, but still not use colored. Have to use a lot of colored ink, to do it. So hopefully this will render here in a second, and I can move on. I was listening to Ray Kronis's podcast. A lot of times I'll turn a podcast on to listen to if I'm working, and but he I'm going to put the copy. I'm going to put this in this link in the description. That's a long link right there. Now I wonder if it's going to let me. I might have to go to Bitly. It's not going to let me put in there, but it's on Google Podcast. It's called Science and Saucery, like saucery. And Ray is a pretty amazing guy. I'm not even sure I can describe Ray, but he's written these books that I'm reading about nutrition, plant-based nutrition. I've actually lost 7 pounds following my wife confiscated the books, so I haven't been able to read much of them yet, but I understand the concept. And she is going to the store to buy ingredients to make black bean chili tonight, which should be good. Alright, so now I'm becoming impatient with this rendering, and I should have known better. I don't know if you guys were here earlier when I started this, Barrett and Richard, but I'm trying to render brick on this face. So that I can print the drawings in black and white, and the brick will show up, because it won't show up on the drawing, because what's there now is just a texture on. It's like an image texture. So I wonder, I guess there's a limit to, let me go to Bitly right quick. Probably screwing up my rendering. Where's my, you could put, got it. Where, okay, here we go. Let's see if this will work. That's Ray Kronis's. Yeah, that worked. That's cool. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. That's a guy I just met. I'm helping him with that little shed renovation. Him and his son are renovating that shed, and I've gotten to talking to him about nutrition. He's helping me with my diet. Not a diet, the food that I eat. So, but he actually helped. Forgot how he helped this guy. If you listen to that podcast, it's really interesting. He is in this movie, Tim's Vermeer, and it's kind of a long story, but if you listen to that podcast, it's pretty interesting. And there's a movie on, I think it's Netflix right now, or Prime, Tim's Vermeer, and it's about this guy. He's interviewing Tim Jennison, who was part of the sort of the dawn of the video graphics community. But I haven't listened to the entire podcast. I was going to ask him if I could play it in the background, but I know that's sort of a no-no. But this doesn't look like it's going to render. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Can you see the mouse pointer? Sometimes I forget to turn on the mouse pointer in OBS, but it's a little wheel spinning, so it's thinking it's working. And I would appreciate it if it would finish up, because this is like dead air radio. Hello, good afternoon, Honest Building. Walters, good luck to you on your diet. Thank you. I cut down meat consumption by 9. Yeah, pretty much. I stopped eating a lot of meat, and Barrett can tell you this, probably a year, 2 years ago, and that helped. I feel a lot better, but I'm still, getting a lot of fat in my diet. It's kind of funny. Ray was watching my video where I was making my potatoes, and he was like, "Man, you got to cut that oil out." All I did was put a little oil on the bottom of the pan to keep them from sticking, and he caught me doing that. I said that was a no-no. But Ray's got these books. My wife's got one of them, but he's got these books. Plant-based nutrition. Where am I? Where's my OBS? He wrote this, and it's really good. And he's just a super smart guy. I mean, he's one of these guys who is kind of eccentric, almost, eccentric to the point, or smart to the point of eccentricity. Would you be interested in consulting work? Yes, I do consulting work. That's what this is right here. This project, if you're talking about construction consulting, that's part of what atdrafting.com is. But you may be talking about what type of consulting work. Oh, your name is Honest Building, so you're probably talking about consulting work. But yeah, you can send me an email at tony@artisantony.com, or framing. Yes. As a matter of fact, I wish I had not honestly started this rendering this brick, because one of the things I need to do is I was going to work on the roof framing plan. And now I've got my computer froze up trying to render the brick on this thing, which is really kind of playing around. It's not productive work. But I'll show you on this, I'll show you how I've got hopefully this will end. If it doesn't end in just a minute, I'm going to cancel it and move on. Because it's seriously hampering my live stream here. What are you framing, Honest Building? A home, or? But one of the things I do on all these projects is I do the framing plans for people, even the walls, to show how to frame the headers and jacks and T's and corners, because really that's the meat and bones of a building. Once you get that framed up and you get your skin, you get your I started to say OBS, which is my screen recording software. OSB. I did it now. Oh, it says not responding. Son of a gun. If I had just left it alone instead of jumping around. Alright, but I saved this drawing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close it and restart it, because this is futile. And I'm getting bored from watching it. But this is the layout. This is the software that we do our sheets in, our printable sheets. And so you can see here for people who just joined, I don't normally do these drawings. Like I'll send this sheet here of the elevations to him, to Charles, the customer, so he can kind of get an idea of what the textures will look like, the colors. But I can never get the colors exactly right, so I just can guess at them. And then you wouldn't want to print this because you can imagine how much ink, the paper would just be wet with ink when you try this. I've done it before. So what we typically do is then try to show the materials. I'm going to restart SketchUp and it'll probably tell me it's going to recover. Well, I saved it though. At least I did that. Yeah. So we're gonna put this in a layer and kind of move on. That I can turn off here. I got this layer X stone, and I can just turn that off and move on. But you can see what I was trying to do. If I go to my view of where I'm going to be printing this, you can see because I rendered the stone, it's showing up, but this brick is not showing up because in SketchUp, I'll go back to that view. This is just an image. That's an image, a textured. The texture is just an image. So it's really kind of this is a struggle I have with SketchUp on all the projects that we do. But let me turn this, instead of beating that dead horse, let me turn off a lot of this stuff. I'll show you the let's go to the roof. Let's turn the roofing off, the cladding, and there's our decking. Turn that to sheeting, and here you can see, and this is really what I need to show Charles too. I'm building a wall here, a gable end wall. Let me turn off the drywall. Just realized it was turned on. And you can see the framing. So let's turn off the trusses for a second. And I wanted to show Charles this. To get a real, to get a decent wall up here that you can put sheeting on to do this brick, you'll want to frame this gable wall instead of just putting a truss there, because you got your window framing and all that. And it's also, this wall is going to be framed up underneath the height of the wall would be based on the underside of this truss top cord, you see. So if I were to take a truss and move it over there, you'll see, you'll see that the wall height would be as if there was a truss there. Okay, I'm going to undo that. But the reason I mention that is because the best way to do these soffits is to drop, even if you had a truss there and you were just doing siding in the gable and you just had a regular house line truss, you'd still want to have the truss company drop that truss. Just call it a drop truss. Just tell them you want a dropped house line truss on each end, okay? Now, that would be the normal language, but what you're going to have to do if you want this brick in the gables and you want that window is you're going to have to build a gable end wall just like I'm showing it, okay? But the height of that wall is based on the underside of the top cord of the truss. Does that make sense? Because what happens then, and see, Charles will get this model so he can see, and it kind of goes back to that. Okay, cool. I was going to say honest building. It kind of goes back to that framing, that that consulting thing we were talking about, because these outlooks for this overhang are super strong when you do them this way. When you build that gable end wall, and it's honestly, this is kind of an old school way. We used to do this back in even when I first started in the late 70s, we would build the gable end walls we would build them a wall there. We wouldn't have like a rafter and then a wall underneath it. We would just build a gable wall that's in the shape of the roof, right? And that's important when you have this brick, because this brick is not attached to the wall in the way that it's holding. Like the brick is not holding the weight. I mean, the wall is not holding the weight of the brick, but you do have brick ties that attach. You have lateral bracing. There's brick ties that nail to the OSB of this wall and go into the brick coursing, and it does help hold it laterally. So you don't want just a truss there. Now, if you were doing siding in the gable, it would be different. You could just have a normal gable end truss, which has, let me show you one right quick, because this is one thing nice about my extensions from Medique, is that I can just draw this really quick. I can just draw an example of it, if I can get it in the right view here. Yeah, and then I'll go, let me just go here. Gable end truss, yes. Okay, and then see if I can just get a gable end truss. Well, shoot, when you know it. What did I do? I did something wrong and it didn't, or did it? Is there a gable? What did they do? There should have been a truss with studs in it, and you all probably know what I'm talking about. And you see, there's a lot of parameters here I have to go through. Gable end trusses. Yes, I said yes. Goobers. Gable end trusses. Yes. 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 See, gable studs. Yeah, I'm not sure. I probably should have checked a different. Let's do a different truss type. And because I may be tricking it into thinking I want an attic truss. Let's do this. Where is the regular truss? There we go. Let's just do a regular truss. Gabling truss, yes. Let's see. There we go. See that? It's because I had picked an attic truss. You see, a regular house line truss is just got these studs in it, but they're turned flat. They're turned in the plane of the cord, top and bottom cord, right? So that'll hold siding okay, just like they've got it here. But on a brick, for a brick wall, brick veneer, on a brick wall, a brick veneer, you want this situation. And see, the result of that is that you get really strong overhangs, because you take these 2x4s and you nail them flush with your last truss, okay, and then you let them hang over whatever your hangover is, your overhang, 16 inches, and it'd be 14 and a half, and then you got your 1.5 inch subfascia, right, and then you got your trim, your fascia, your 1x6 fascia that hangs down out here and creates a lip right there, a little overhang. But so that's the way I'm proposing to build that. And I mean, the reason they can do that too is that the house line truss is non-load bearing. You see, these trusses are spanning the 8, 17, 18 feet, whatever it is. But the house line truss is sitting on the wall, and that's how they can get by with not having the normal webbing in the wall. But see, these trusses, I believe we have 2x6 top cords, pretty sure. No, they're just 3.5. Yeah. Where did I see? Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. We had a real, we had a 2x6 for a bottom cord. That's what it was. so that he could store things, in the attic. Let me check the comments right quick. 19,000 square feet. Good Lord. Did you mean 1900 or 19,000? I sent you a mail. This area is Orlando, Florida. Okay, I've been down there. So you've got your high wind areas, your code. What code are they in? Are they under the 2012? Or did they change over to 2018 IBC, International Residential Code? Yo, Mr. Knives, Walter's Playground. Hello, guys. So, on this particular project, so I'm doing this for Charles and showing him how we would. And the benefit of this too is that, you can frame this wall cheaper than buying a truss. So, there's no reason to buy trusses. You'll just need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 trusses instead of 14 trusses. So you save a little money, not much, but these this is kind of an older school way to do the soffits too, the overhangs, but it's really strong. I've seen people literally frame up these things where they're not where the outlooks, the barge hangers. I call this the barge rafter. This is this sub fascia right here for the gable end. I call it a barge rafter. I don't know why we started calling it that years ago. So we call these barge hangers. But some people call them outlooks, outrigger, whatever, But I've seen those done a bunch of different ways. I've seen people lay them flat, and so they're hanging over flat, and I think I can show that pretty easily too. Let's put that truss. Let's do that truss thing again, and we'll make the pitch. This extension at Medique. I used to draw my trusses, individually, and I would make components out of them and then copy them around. And Nathan Wilkerson created this really awesome let's make the pitch like 10, 12 like this one, just to make it look good. And then we'll say let's just say okay, and then we'll go back and set the parameters. Okay, now, here's a good example. Okay, some people would do their soffits like this, where you just have these 2x4s making, that are nailed into the truss, the house line truss, right? That's very wimpy. I've seen these types of soffits sag because there's really nothing the only thing holding this up is the decking. If we turn on the roof sheeting, you can see that the nature of your OSB hanging over and being 8 foot long or whatever it is at that particular point is what's really supporting the soffit. Okay, and this is the way a bunch of houses have been built. You see, now I can change this. What's kind of cool about this extension is I can change that. Oh wait, I gotta select it. Okay, edit truss assembly. I can go down here and say that these are structural outlooks. Where is it? Outlooks. Outlooks. Yes. Spacing. Yes. Say yes. And update that, and they will extend. And I don't know why they didn't extend all the way back to here. Let's see what they did on the. Yeah, there should be. This kind of a bug right there. They should be like this all the way back to that truss. See? And these are laying flat, and that's the next best way to do it, right? Because at least the 2x4 is coming back to here, and you face nail it into that first truss. But see, this truss is what I was talking about earlier. It's a drop truss. You see how it's dropped an 1.5 inches, or whatever that thickness is. The height distance would be different than the thickness of the 2x4. But anyway, that's a technicality. But see, this is the next best way to frame the gables. The absolute best way is the way I've got it, where the 2x4 is standing up vertically, because it will cantilever farther. It won't bend when it hangs over. You see, it's like a little beam hanging out there. And you could park a truck on the edge of this thing, So you just have to decide how much, how you want to frame it, and how straight you want. This thing will stay really straight and strong, and you won't have to rely. I've built some buildings where the plywood didn't work out very well on one end, and you'd end up with a bunch of short pieces. So you don't get that benefit of the sheeting helping you as much as you think it would. Like if we turn the sheeting back on, like you may end up with little pieces. Like say an 8-foot piece comes to here or whatever. Well, that one section, you've just got a little short piece helping you hold up the. So you can't rely. My point is, you shouldn't rely on the sheeting hanging over to support your soffits. What other questions? 2018. Yeah, they've got some pretty decent updates on shear walls and things. So a good source for your area is the APA's website, the American Plywood Association. Do I have it bookmarked? It's APA. Let's see if it'll go to the American Plywood. No, physiological. We're gonna have to type in the plywood. The doctors get all of the. Well. Yeah, here we go. This is a good source. And all these sources are free. They actually even have a wall bracing. I'm actually signed up for this wall bracing seminar. It's free, and especially if you're framing your own home, you're going to want to, especially in Florida, and if you're on 2018, you want to go. Let's see. You want to go to. They have some construction guidelines for. Let's talk about shear walls. Shear walls is oh shoot. Why is it not? I thought I was searching there. That's not a search bar. Search. Shear walls. Shear wall. See here, shear wall analysis made easy. They have these. It's calculator type thing. Anyway, this is the kind of resources we use when we're designing shear walls. And even in this little project, I've got our portal framing on our door beside the garage door. And how you do that is you ignore that little, that's just something in that little joint right there. The top plate's continuous. You let your header on your garage door lap over 16 to 24 inches, and then you have a nailing pattern. It's pretty like 3 or 4 inches all over this area out here. Let's turn our brick off for a second. While cladding. So where that header is, we'll turn off the sheeting for a second. You see how this header laps over? Well, when you let your OSB come up here, and it laps over all that, and you're just kind of machine gun nailing it to here, it makes this really strong, and it keeps the building from racking laterally this way. Because see, on the corners, you've got really good shear protection. Well, especially on this corner, because you've got full sheets of sheeting, and it's acting as a diagonal brace. It's creating a diaphragm effect on the wall. So that's really strong. And of course, you can see it about portal framing at the APA's website too. So yeah, a lot of those, especially in Florida, 2018 International Building, the Residential Building Code is got some stuff in there. Your building inspector will be looking for. They have these tie downs. You'll have tie downs on the corners. I'm trying to go back to the like if I were going to do my wall here, and I wanted to draw a wall like that, and hit escape to get rid of that. I can go in here and I can tell it, I can select the wall, edit wall assembly, and somewhere advanced, yes, corner, hold downs, yes. Okay, and then you can specify those. Let's just update that and see. You see, this is the kind of thing you'll see in Florida. You'll have a bolt. If it's a concrete slab, you'll have this anchor bolt going down into the concrete, and if it's either way, if it's a foundation, that would be going down to the foundation through the floor system down into the foundation, and then you have these metal bracket devices. Simpson Strong Tie makes these, and it bolts down, and you tighten this. It's got the nuts missing on there. It's funny. But what that does is, and there's a little gap right here. There's typically a little gap that makes sure that when you're tightening that down, it's pull down. You don't install these where they're initially touching the plate. You leave them up a little bit, and then you start tightening it down, and that holds it down well. So that's going to be part of what you're going to be dealing with in Florida, with the wind requirements, the code requirements there. Why I keep going to there, I don't know. I mean to go here. The plans are already drawn up with the structural members highlighted. This is a complex project, and I need your knowledge to get through some of the... Yeah, that sounds cool. Are you going to try to build it yourself? Or have you got a framing contractor? But I'm not sure on this project. I think he's just required to have, and I'll have him check this. I don't know what version of the code he's under, but typically on most where you're not dealing with high winds and older building codes, you'll just have anchor bolts at least every 4 feet and within 12 inches of the corners. It's pretty standard in a lot of areas because a lot of people a lot of municipalities haven't updated their codes to the 2018 yet. It's funny how far behind, because it's actually a pain in the rear for them to change over, because you have the codes are licensed, so you have to buy the license for the code, and then you have to do ordinances. You have to write an ordinance to upgrade your building code, and then you have to be able to enforce it. So it's kind of a pain for cities to update their codes, and it takes time. I mean, we're here, it is 2020, and I think we're just now, for a long time we were on 2012 in Chattanooga. So I think we've just updated 2018. But see, we don't have the I think we're under like a 75-mile-an-hour wind requirements here. I think you're at 125 or so in Florida. I have to check that. Don't quote me. When you get finished here, check your email. Okay. And I'm pretty close. I've been going a long time here. And I got kind of sidetracked with the brick, trying to show the brick and everything. And he wants this stone on the corner. He wants the stone on the front. But what I'm trying to talk him into doing is doing it where it wraps around. And this is an example of it not wrapping around, and how the brick would have to butt into the back of it, which is not a good idea. It's better to do it this way, because it's easier to make a stone corner than it is to make a stone and brick corner. It's just the nature of the beast. So anyway, I'm gonna try this. Just for the fun of it, I'll show you. No, I'm not going to, because I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to render this brick again, but I'm going to turn off. I think if I turn off some of the stuff on my computer, like the live streaming, I can probably get it to render. But what I'm trying to do is render the brick so that I don't have an image texture here, so that when I go to my drawing, my printable drawings, which are going to be black and white, you see, you don't want to curse someone with having to print in color. And, once you go to I'm trying to get this drawing, which is our paper drawing, to be in black and white. And I'm not there yet, because I'm trying to render the brick. So anyway, that's where I am. And all that's kind of boring to hear me talk about. But that's where I kind of am on the project. But I'm getting close to being complete. And so what I'll do is I'm going to send Charles, I'm going to kind of get these drawings to a certain point and send them. Well, here's the contrast between the plan view. You see, it's easy for me to get the plan view, the floor plans here, and the foundation plan, the slab plan is here. That's all reasonable and easy to print, but you can imagine going here. It's just night and day on the amount of ink it's going to take to print it. But anyway, I appreciate everybody coming to the live stream. Really good participation today, and I appreciate it. Sometimes it gets boring working by yourself, and it's nice to have people commenting so you can interact with them. And I will check my email, Honest Building, and I'll be contacting you. But thanks a lot, guys. I really do appreciate it.